everyone. My name is Carolina and I'm currently a social media intern at Sparkworks. We are a strategic innovation company and are all about human-centered innovation. As my personal project for my internship, I'm making a podcast series showing how versatile human-centered businesses can be. I'm here today with Alfredo from One Ragtime. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for the invitation.
So, to get started, what is One Ragtime?
Thank you. Nice. Hello, everyone. One Ragtime is the next generation venture capital fund. We're considered as a capital fund as a platform that specializes in the sourcing, financing, and scaling of early stage pan-European tech startups. So, after all, we've digitalized the whole process of investment. And thanks to our exclusive community of investors and startups, we give these investors the freedom to choose how they wish to invest.
So it's a very personalized process.
Definitely. It's not only a very personalized process, but as well it's so far the only fund in Europe that proposes the opportunity for these investors to choose not only how much they want to invest in companies, but to choose the companies as well and how they want to invest them. It gives a lot of freedom, and it makes it very different from all other venture capital funds that exist so far.
All right, and what do you do at One Ragtime?
I'm the chief financial officer for almost 2 years now. First, I started in the Paris Stock Exchange market in a service specialized in the accompaniment of startups, and then innovation sector, especially in fintechs. And there's where I met One Ragtime, and I started with them 2 years ago now. Basically, my activities are two. From one, it's more probably the most classical CFO activities. So that's everything that concerns the follow up of the financial as a company, because from one side, One Ragtime is a regular innovation company that develops products, so it develops the platform itself. And from the other side as well, I have a CFO, a vision of all our investments, because so far we've invested in 20 different companies in Europe.
Yeah.
So principally in France, in Spain, and in Ireland.
Already in Ireland too.
Yes. It's one company that is based at the same time in France and in Ireland.
Okay. And do you know what sparked the business idea?
The business idea of One Ragtime?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, this whole adventure, because it's before being a fund, it started as an entrepreneurial adventure from Stéphanie Hospital and Jean-Marie Messier. So both very important figures of digital in France. They decided to create this fund, totally different from the funds that used to exist before, because they realized there was mainly two problems in this area. From one side, the lack of freedom of particular investors to go to the venture market, and from the other side, the lack of investment possibilities of startups that would like to actually go to the market, because they were very young and they're in a very early stage. So their lack of probably good knowing of the ecosystem and support in order to get a good high growth potential.
Okay, so they wanted to focus on helping those companies find their first steps.
Yes, absolutely, because it's very important to know that that's actually we love to jump in early stage. We tend to do so only once there's an actual product or service with a high growth potential in a certain way, and preferably they just need to have some traction in a certain way. We look for companies with a technology or product that it's so ready to sell and to scale, and that might be profitable while scaling, but we're not looking from profitability from the first day. We're just looking from good technologies, especially with good people, with good inspiring entrepreneurs, because after all, the team might, and it's for sure actually makes a difference in terms of business development.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I think maybe that goes into the subject of why One Ragtime is so successful.
Well, I think it would be quite pretentious to say that we're successful, but we've definitely done a very important way so far in terms of finding from one side exceptional entrepreneurs and a top team to that might create this whole vision of keeping growth and keeping development. So that's everything that we look in companies that we invest in, that we've invested in so far. We try to apply it as well in One Ragtime. We're not only looking for inspiring profiles that do make the difference in terms of business development, but from the other side, we're looking. There's something that is very important for us: the diversity.
Yeah.
We're a very diverse team. We have more than 5 nationalities in a team of 20 persons. Right now, we're in 3 different countries, and we've created a very horizontal way of working, in which we struggle to make very accessible to every team member, to have a very fluid way of working with it's something actually very important for us, and we struggle to put every team member in the strategic development of One Ragtime.
All right. So you also maybe try to learn from the companies you invest in?
Definitely. I think the position we have right now as investors, it's very interesting because from one side, we do teach this very, very young enterprises to have probably good things in which they might get better. But from the other side, we get a lot of value from these entrepreneurs because most of our companies actually directed by entrepreneurs that have been in older enterprises, probably not only in big companies, but as well in any other different startups that they've made so far. It's sometimes it's probably their second, their third, even their fourth startup that they have funded so far. So there's a lot of things to learn, and we have definitely a lot of things to take from them. Actually, from what's happening right now with this current situation, we've realized we have so much stories to talk about, and we've tried a lot with our different founders just to make them speak about their current experiences and their past experiences, and done a lot of webinars around that area.
That sounds very interesting. So what were some of the challenges or a failure you have encountered along the way?
Well, very, very probably complex as a question, because we might not talk about precisely failures in our past experiences.
Or challenge,
but definitely a lot of challenges, because I think that applies to any kind of company that's trying to make disruption in a specific market. So far, it's very, I think for a market that it's very enclosed in a certain way. It's difficult to make, first of all, to enter in the funding market and to be known as an important actor of it. And the being able as well to convince different investors that, first of all, the companies that you're invested in are interesting enough, and from the other side, that you're credible enough in order to make the best out of it, right?
So credibility is probably very important.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, it's and as I was saying before, it's all about disruption. As soon as the public sees that there's things that are actually going differently, it's very difficult to say that we're doing it different because everything's going to go better. And in our case, in particular, we have done the platform because we've realized that using technology, we just making things way more fluent in a certain way, because as soon as investors go in our platform, they have all this digitalized way of investing. So everything that is concerning the identification of each investor, the way of investing, and as well the process of each financing. They have a lot of vision, and as well from our side in terms of back office, is there's a lot of follow up, and thanks to the technology itself, and it makes things way easier.
Okay, so you've already talked about the amazing team you work with. Maybe, how do you focus on humans, or how do you make sure they stay at the core of what you do?
Well, very, very, very important, and something that it's really repeated constantly by Stephanie, the CEO. It's our horizontal relations.
Yeah.
And it's a way to guarantee, after all, that you're going to have a very good communication from all your team members, that those team members are going to be seen and, as you say in French, mise en avant, so being under the light for what they do.
Yeah.
Very, very important, and especially right now in a certain context in which everyone's working from their home. That changes everything, right? Because you have to make them speak, you have to make them have the word and to express themselves, and from the other side, in totally different contexts, right?
Yeah, you have to find other ways.
And for example, one of our data catalysts that is working all the way from India. We have one a legal responsible that is working from Vietnam, and we have people as well in Spain, and we have some other in France, and that makes like a huge challenge in terms of communication. But from the other side, a lot of things to learn from, especially in terms of remote work, that's for sure. But from the other side, actually to just allow people to just communicate way more fluently, and to making everyone have their own word and their own opinion in order to make conversations way more fluent, and from the other side to being to get insights that might develop business faster.
Yeah. All right. So what do you think the future of work will look like within your company?
Wow, I think it might not change that much after all, because from what we've invested so far in our company itself, it's horizontal technologies such as our artificial intelligence, our platform, our digitalized processes that are working for the good of our team members, right?
Yeah.
So far everything's going quite well. I think the big challenge, it's whenever we get bigger, because we're definitely going to be bigger, we're looking for new countries to go to. We might be Switzerland, it might be Germany. That's going to be definitely the challenge. As soon as you're going to have a even more international team, you're going to have a lot of cross-cultural diversities that might be quite complex to find out and to create a good flow of working.
Okay, so the cultural aspect is maybe something that will pose a challenge in the future, but regarding technology, you're already very future focused, right?
Yeah, probably that's one of our biggest advantages, the fact of being very young, because we've been created no more than 5 years ago. We have a lot of technological bricks that have been developed so far, some others that might be developed in the next couple of months. So there's a lot of technology that's working already for us, and that allows us to develop and to grow faster. And from the other side, yeah, definitely that's going to be the challenge. It's just gonna make everyone to work towards that technology, even though if you're not a tech person itself, like myself, because after all, I'm in a very financial function. But I realized that even of the most probably far technological posts, such as the financial or the legal, technology is working for us. So that's a huge point that might make the relations way more fluent, and it's so interesting to see how this diverse teams working all together towards that, right?
Yeah. So, do you have any advice for people trying to focus on innovative, human-centered projects?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's something that I've learned so far in all the companies that I've seen, all different startups that I've met in the last years. It's the importance of being well surrounded. When I talk about well surrounded, that means being well advised, having inspiring persons in your team, and whenever you get financed, have exceptional investors that are going to have a real impact in your business development.
That is really cool for you to say that, because you have like the direct experience from not only what you've noticed, but from the startups you've invested in. You've learned that from them.
That's sure. We've seen like the impact that our money has had in the different companies that we invested in so far. And from the other side, the link we make between our investors, our particular investors that have so many things to give in terms of network, in terms of advices, in terms of development, concrete development, and spark money to the companies that we invested so far, and from the other side, these companies that are benefiting from all this ecosystem in order to go even faster.
Well, I think we're through with the questions from my side. Do you have anything you would like to add?
Well, for all the people that might wonder what we do in One Ragtime, go definitely to our website, oneragtime.com, and we hopefully will get into touch for startups and for potential investors. One never knows.
Of course, yeah. So go check out the website. And well, I want to thank you so much for your time. This was very interesting and insightful. So see you next time.
Thank you. Have a good day.